Department of Children is a very interesting investigative piece. The Department of Children was set up in Ireland in 2011. And in 2020, at the start of this government, they introduced an umbrella term to this. It was now transformed from the Department of Children to the Department of Children, Disability, Integration, Equality and Youth. A mouthful. And you're like, okay, so what are all these other things? Equality, integration, what do they mean? So
when you followed the money, what did you find?
So since the start of this government, the funding for this department has grown from about $1 billion to, as of the last budget, in around 8 to 10 billion, probably 10 billion when you delve into the accounting trickery that's been going on. And the majority of that is going to integration, asylum, and we are spending more money on equality and integration.
Okay, so that's where it's coming through.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, how's all this immigration stuff being funded? And it's coming through that department. And another really interesting thing happened in 2023. There was a budget of 2.3 billion that was transferred from the Department of Health over to the Department of Children. And that was for disability services. And they have diluted that budget. And now that encompasses racism, Roma traveler initiatives, integration, immigration. That's for disability. So I'd love them to report exactly on where all this money is going. Anyway, then on top of all that, the government has been running two accounts in its budget over the last few years. It's had its core funding and non-core funding. And non-core funding is emergency fund, basically for IPAS centres. Yeah. And they got in trouble from the EU, from a budget directive, that they can't do that. You can't have a temporary fund running alongside because it's not accounted the same. So this year, because they knew they were getting in trouble, they flipped in the temporary pot into the main pot, but they didn't count it in their percentage increases for the year or the base effect. Okay, so they basically hid an extra spending of 4.5 billion.